Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. I am DM Bluddworth, and as you can see by the graphics, today is day 5 of RPG A Day 2022. As I've said in my previous videos, I recorded all of these first 5 videos on Sunday night, actually July 31st. And so I'm doing all 5 in advance because I have a very busy work week ahead of me. And just wanted to make sure that I don't fall behind in the first week of RPG A Day 2022. And so I'm going to pick up with the next prompt. So the next prompt for day 5 is, why will they like this game? So I'm assuming that what they really mean is that they're taking the previous prompts. So the first prompt was, you know, who would I introduce to RPGs? In which case I said I would like to introduce people who are military veterans or active duty military. If they've never played RPGs before, I'd like to introduce them to RPGs. What is a great introductory RPG? And I brought up Dungeons and Dragons, the basic set, 1983. So that basic or BECME box set or series of box sets, I would use that game to introduce players to tabletop RPGs in general, and then more specifically Dungeons and Dragons. When was I first introduced? Was 1977, possibly 78, but I think closer to 77 when I was 10 years old. I was in the sixth grade, I believe, and so that was my introduction, and my introduction was specifically the first box set that I owned, or the first RPG that I purchased myself, was the Moldvay Magenta box set. Then the next prompt was, where would I host? I would host my first game at probably virtually. I don't see myself getting out to a gaming shop that I have no connection to. That's over a half an hour away to sit down and run a game. They're very different than running at like a convention where people are coming in and looking for a game to sit down at, rather than uh, you know, just showing up at a game store and saying, hey, do you mind if I sit at this table and try to attract players to a game? So those are where I laid it out. I would play virtually, and I often open up new campaigns and games, various different types of games to, starting off new campaigns. My current AD&D campaign is going into its 53rd week, so we're going 1 year strong so far, and so virtual is where I would do it. And now today's prompt is, why will they like this game? So I'm assuming that they're not, the prompt isn't just talking about a very specific game, but why would a new player enjoy sitting at my table? And I would like to think that players sit at my table, and I have the same 7 or 8 players now at my table for over a year. And I think what I like to think is that they know that I'm very consistent. Haven't missed a week. I mean, we've had to flex days here and there for because life happens, but we've met every week, and so there's that consistency. I think that as a dungeon master, I prepare I prepare ideas about where the campaign is and where it might go, and with enough side possibilities, and enough reaction to what the players actually do at the table. So I'm very responsive to their actions, and I allow them to drive the campaign into different directions before I try to steer them kind of back along the main course of the overall campaign idea that I had. So it's really a mix of sandbox, player agency over the what's happening in the world, and then so there's a good portion of that, but there is still a an underlying story that will continue moving forward even if they don't engage with it. So, and there'll be positive or negative consequences based on their actions throughout the entire campaign. Because the campaign itself isn't a specific story, the campaign itself is a specific timeline in the world that is ongoing, and the way that the players engage in what's going on around them is really what I consider to be the campaign. And so they can take it in different directions that they want, but I think the players also will come back to the table or really enjoy being at my table because they have that sense of their actions, their characters' actions are meaningful and they have impact in the immediate surrounding area. Um, they have a reputation that is growing and expanding even beyond their own movement throughout the world, and so and they're engaging in that, and their reputation they're encountering their reputation where they go, and in general it's a very positive reputation, but it's also a reputation that is going to attract the forces of evil to see them as a possible hindrance of their plans. And so the players are going to have their characters face these a growing growing defiance of what they're looking to do. And so I think that is something that I hope attracts players to my table, is that sense that they're being immersed in a real living, breathing world. And if that's what you're looking for as a player, I think you'll find that at my table. So that's what they're going to like at my table. That's what they're going to like with the game that I'm running. And it doesn't matter what the genre is, as well. I mean, it could be, it could be a much darker, grimmer version of Dungeons and Dragons, and they'll just understand that, character death might be more prevalent in that kind of a setting. It might be pure heroic high fantasy like Dungeons and Dragons, and they'll say that even though I tend to like tough challenges, to be out there as well. The my players, as they're going up in those, their characters are going up those level bands. Now they're around level 7. They're starting to encounter creatures that can pack a real punch with just one spell or one attack or one whatever, and they're starting to realize, like, holy cow, I can actually take 40 points of damage in one hit, and now have to make a constitution check to make sure that I don't just die, and those are the kinds of things that you can expect when you come to my table. And I think that that's what the players will like about it. The players will like the level of consistency, fairness, challenge, and an expectation that you know they'll get more of the same. They can kind of know what to expect as far as the tone and the consistency of the table is concerned. So That's pretty much it. I mean, why will they like this game? They'll like this game or they'll like this table because like I said, there'll be consistency, there'll be fairness, there'll be challenge, and and overall they'll be fun. They'll be fun to have at the table if that's what you're looking for in a tabletop RPG. You're certainly going to find that you'll like the game. All right. Thanks for joining. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comments section. And as always, I look forward to seeing you on the gaming screen sometime soon. We'll have a great evening. Take care.